He's joined Twitter, guys. His very first tweet, like his number on his jersey, 9. It is Tony Romo we're talking about. So now we're here, and we wanted to know, Bayless, you have, as you pointed out, over 1 million followers, but you follow no
way
one.
Over 1 million. I got
way.
1.64.
Make sure
you know what happened today, Carrie? I walked into our morning meeting, and I heard the man in charge of our social media for First Take, Marcus Matthews, point out that Tony Romo has joined Twitter. And I thought to myself, I follow nobody. But because Tony Romo was so great last year that he made my man and my friend Stephen A. Smith wear a Tony Romo jersey for an entire show of First Take because he lost a bet to me. Thank you, Tony. I owe you this one. I decided I'm going to follow one person in this world. It's going to be Tony Romo. Thank you so much. So bear with me because I've never done this before.
All right, kid.
You ready for this?
We're ready.
I'm on his site.
Yes.
Got the cursor on follow.
Yep, I'm watching.
I'm going to click. You ready?
I'm ready.
Click. Following. Boom.
Well, there you
Boom. It happened. I'm following Tony Romo, and it feels so good. You know what, Stephen A.? It feels right. It feels like something I probably should have done a long time ago.
Look at his face.
Thank you, Tony, for making my man Stephen A. Smith wear that jersey. But, hey, Tony, your first interception, I just might have to unfollow.
Yeah, or block. You might block him. I think he might follow you back. We have to wait and see. Breaking news.
Your reaction.
He wants you to follow him.
Tony A. Smith.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
You know what?
What's wrong, boo?
I don't even want to talk to you. I don't even want to talk to you. I mean, you know, this stinks on a multitude of levels. Number one, first of all, you're following a cowboy. Number two, you used as a source of inspiration the bet that I lost where I had to wear his jersey and a cowboy hat on my birthday.
On your birthday.
Oh. And you expect me to sit up here and want to talk to you about this? Skip Bayless, I never said this to you before. You can kick rocks. You can kick rocks, Skip Bayless.
I
don't even want to talk to you. I don't even want to talk to you right now. I mean, what a Benedict Arnold, what a Benedict Arnold you are. This might be one of the lowest blows you've ever thrown at me. This is really bad.
Time out. Go ahead and follow him.
I'm following one.
Follow your friend.
No, Tony Romo.
You know what?
Wait, Tony Romo and Stephen A. Smith don't belong in the same sentence.
I might follow Tony Romo, too, just to mess with him and you communicating with one another. I might do it just for that purpose.
Wait, does this mean that...
Let me get 2 followers. Let me see if I can follow Tony Romo.
Hold on.
You know what I mean?
I don't know how this works because I never followed anybody. Does this mean that Tony and I can DM each other?
If he follows you back, you guys can have private conversations.
We could like... exchange private messages?
Follow LeBron while you're at it.
No.
Apologize.
Tony Romo.
It's time for me to go.
Don't put LeBron James and Tony Romo in the same sentence.
Oh, you're right. That's right. LeBron's got 2 titles.
Not belong.
Because you know what?
Tony Romo was clutch at Green Bay. That was a catch. You know it, and I know it. The Cowboys should have been in the Super Bowl. They would have won at Seattle. You know it, and I know it.
2 playoff victories in 9 years.
I'm following you to the death.
Not close out their series against the Rockets last night, so now it's back to Houston for a Game 7. Going into the fourth quarter, the Rockets were down by 13, but pulled off a serious comeback and won the game, 119-107. Stephen A., who wins Game 7?
It's almost impossible to pick right now because I couldn't even recognize the Clippers last night. To be quite honest with you, I'm still shell-shocked by what happened to them. But this is a Game 7. They've got all the odds stacked against them. Houston is almost virtually playing with house money from the perspective that they climbed back from a 3-1 deficit and pushed this to a 7-game series. So they've really made amends for 2 blowout losses at the hands of the Clippers in Games 3 and 4. But I'm going to go with the Clippers to win Game 7 on the road in Houston Sunday afternoon. I'm going to stick with my pick. I originally thought the Clippers would beat Houston in 6. It's now 7 games. I know Houston can beat them. They've made believers out of me. When they're hitting those threes the way they hit them last night, they can beat anybody, especially when Dwight Howard is a rebounding demon, even though he's absolutely horrific from the free throw line. I think he went into, I think at one point last night, he was like 26 of 69, Skip, from the free throw line. That's about 37%, which was god-awful. Okay, that's worse than DeAndre Jordan. Yep. But in the end, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to say the Clippers' backs are against the wall. They've showed me something against the San Antonio Spurs, who I don't believe the Houston Rockets to be. Their reputation, Doc Rivers, you know, I mean, listen, we hold him in the highest regard. This will not look good for him if he loses this game. I don't think Chris Paul is at fault at all, but it will not look good for him if he loses this series. It's certainly not going to look good for Blake Griffin. The odds are big time stacked against them, more than at any other time this year. And all of the work, the hard work that they put forth with Doc Rivers arriving in L.A., with him having the banners of the Lakers, the championship banners covered over, you know, not seeing any semblance of the Lakers in Staples Center when the Clippers games are going on, to all the other changes that were made, to the new billionaire owner Steve Ballmer and coming for L.A. the way that he is. I can't even tell you how much is on the line with this particular game. The Clippers are under immense pressure. They have got to win this game. Otherwise, they're going to be mentioned. Even the Clippers of old, Skip Bayless, never lost something like this, as horrible and as moribund as they were. It was never like this, where you're on the precipice of advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the first time and you blow this. It would take them years to overcome this. Skip Bayless, I'm going to put my money on them because their backs are against the wall. I know what kind of heart Doc Rivers has. I know what kind of heart Chris Paul has. I hope that Blake Griffin has one. He's got to show up. Yep. Houston can beat him. My apologies to the Houston Rockets. I totally slept on them. I was wrong. Period. McHale deserves credit. Dwight Howard deserves credit. Josh Smith, Corey Brewer, Jason Terry and them deserve credit. Even James Harden, even though he didn't play in the fourth quarter, obviously he was a league MVP candidate. It hurt me not to give it to him. I mean, even he deserves credit. But in the end, I'm going to go with the Clippers. Call it heart over mind or whatever. I just think that they have to win this game to have a decent future for years to come, rather than being looked at as the second-class citizens that they have been believed to have been all of these years. They've got to. They cannot lose Game 7 on Sunday, and I'm going to pick the Clippers to win this game.
I'm going back and forth, and I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go with the Clippers. In the end, as much as I want to go Rockets, push comes to shove, I actually trust the Clippers even more than I trust the Rockets in a Game 7. I've never been the biggest fan of this Rockets team, and it is killing my heart right now that my Spurs are not able to sweep the Rockets, because I believe they would have swept the Rockets. So now the Rockets get a Game 7 at home. But I look at what the Clippers have done and what they did to my Spurs. They won Game 4 at San Antonio, and they went back and won Game 6 at San Antonio. And then they went right to Houston with no Chris Paul, and they won Game 1. Miraculous. Maybe the Rockets took them too lightly. Remember, Blake Griffin had the triple-double that first game, 13 assists. Everybody scored. Austin Rivers scored 17, and even Matt Barnes had 20. Everybody. It was a tour de force with no Chris Paul. But it showed me a lot, I thought, about who the Clippers have become. I thought from the start of the Spurs series that this playoffs is going to be about the arrival of Chris Paul as a true superstar. And Stephen A., I will go to my grave saying the game he played against my Spurs in Game 7 back at the Clippers was all-time special, coming off the pulled hamstring or strained hamstring, whatever it was. And you can argue maybe the strained hamstring took a little pressure off Chris, that he could just say, okay, I'm just going to let it fly here, and it won't really matter what happens. But that shot he made over Tim Duncan to win that game, it was just all-time great. I don't know how he pulled it off, but he did. So I'm going to say he'll reach down and pull it off again. I'm not sure how Blake will play. Maybe Doc will have to resort to hack a Dwight and hack a Josh Smith. It may come down to that. It's going to be a wild shootout on Sunday afternoon at 3:30 Eastern, and I'm going to go 105-103 visiting team.
All right, Skip and Stephen A are both saying that they feel like the Clippers will be able to get it done in Game 7. That's in Houston. We shall see. Obviously discussing it Monday on the show. When we come back, one of the Cowboy greats says the loss of DeMarco Murray was huge, and now the Eagles are the favorites in that division. What's the motivation behind said statement? The conversation, the debate on the other side.